So X-Men 97 was released a few days ago, and I was supposed to have watched it by the time it was released and talk about it on this platform. But I was quite busy, and now I've taken a few moments out of my day and watched the first three episodes, and I have a lot and a lot to say. Mind you, I am not really a Marvel fan like that. I am not really an X-Men fan, so I don't know about the lore. But I can tell you as a third party of someone who's just watching a show, and I can give you my own honest review about the episode and about the season in general. This is Streamdorm. We talk about entertainment, movies, music, lifestyle. We interview artists, we interview actors, and we do all that kind of stuff. And it's been a while since I've actually done a series review, but I'm bringing it back and I'm going to try and review as many series as I can. Rick and Morty, House of the Dragons, Widow's Bee that is on Apple, and other kind of series. I'm going to watch as many as I can and just give you my own honest opinion. I may not be able to give you the lore and give you the background and other kind of thing because I'm mostly a DC fan, but I can give you some of the things that I noticed in the episode and just probably we can just share something and you can teach me something and I can teach and I can at least show you exactly what it is that I've seen. Now, X-Men 97 season 2 episode 1 to 3 is quite interesting. It's a good continuation from the first season. And interestingly enough, it has some downside, but in general, it's quite of one of those things where immediately you start the first episode, you're in the ground running, and you are getting jumped right into the action. And there's no some of the issues that I have with it was that though at the first few seconds they just give you a command up of okay, here's what happened. The X-Men have been scattered showtime and poof, well, right right into the season. And there are some times where the issue with some of these series, which I love for this X-Men 7, because by season 3, it's going to the window for season 2 and season 3 is going to be shorter compared to the window of season 1. And now there are a lot of people that are watching so many shows on the go, so many series, and some people are not really building much of fandom. So unless you are actually like you are following everything as they come out, some people will have forgotten that what exactly happened here. I need a reminder, and I think that they could have done a better job at the reminder. Now, obviously, there was a previously in it is clearly in every episode. But there are some minor details. I think those previously in always help with the episode and try to get like, oh, this is what happened. And I think they did it better in season one, season when they were trying to recap every event and how it affects to where the characters are as of that moment. So it's better in season one compared to what they were doing in season three. But yeah, in season three it was quite. Yeah, in season two it was quite interesting, and I really love the actions. I think compared to a lot of shows now, um, so at least when it comes to the main comic book industry, that's Marvel and DC. I think this one has a better action compared to other animated shows between Marvel and between DC. So I think X-Men 97 is peak. It's when it comes to action, it's peak action, it's peak animation. It has a very interesting story. And one thing that I actually got from this episode is these references to not really references, but this feeling and vibes that are watching Doctor Who when you're watching this series. So in Doctor Who, it's all about time. It's all about moving from the past to the future, and there's all these timey wimey kind of actions where you're like you can't really explain if the actions in the past is going to affect the action in the future or which one starts first and that. But it's quite like the reference to it and it's quite interesting. And also one thing I also noticed is that some characters are already having to look like their MCU counterparts. I know it's all built the main continuation in the MC in the Marvel universe is the MCU, and even there are some complaints with Marvel fans saying that there is this the what do you call this thing? the the characters and the stories or the canon is already looking similar to that of the MCU. And some people are complaining that oh, the MCU is good in what the MCU is good in. It's not really being faithful to what Marvel is and what Marvel has been. And though there are some things where I could see and I could point out that what exactly are we doing here? What are we trying to get? Who are all these people? Trying to just let me understand who these guys are. There's no like those kind of things. I think the thing that is interesting about it is that it plays more to the fans. And for those who are not the fans, unless you are someone who actually pay close attention to everything, every single minute detail, and I say, okay, there's something here. I think this thing actually refers to something that I should know. So what exactly it is, then you gotta do your research. Then I think that those kind of things would be better. Like recently, I've been watching Master of the Dragons, and though I haven't read the book, there are people online that have read the book, and whenever I come across something, I have to go to online and I have to read that. Oh, these guys, okay, can you explain this thing to me? And it's interesting. But when it comes to comic, there are different kind of canon and different kind of storylines, and unless you are putting minute details to it, then you're not going to understand. Now, let's move right to episode one. Episode one starts with the X Men. Remember, the X Men are the scattered through time, and the X Men have been some are in the past, some are in a not so distant future. Now, if you oh, sorry. Some are in the some are in the past. There's some are in further past, but they are both in the past. I was like the future. Then I just realized that that was not actually the future. That's actually the past. That's some of the things I was talking about. Now the one that are in the further past are the one with Magneto and Professor Xavier and this Nightcrawler, they are in the further past. I think Rogue is also in the further past, and what uh, their own act is to talk about is to stop rather is to stop Apocalypse from becoming Apocalypse in the first place. Now the one that I beat past that's where Cyclops, Jean, Wolverine, and Storm and some other characters. Their own mission is to make sure that Nathan Summers becomes Cable. At least his road leads to becoming Cable. Now, one thing I do love, I think the review, I think the review was in was no, it was in the first episode. The review was in the first episode. I actually watched it at the same time, where um this character I'm trying to get her name. She's the one that brought them to the past. I love that. I love that review. Where you're like, okay, I'm not really the one that actually did this, but she didn't do it in such a way that it was amongst everybody who was going to cause another drama because everybody emotions is all over the place. It was directly to Storm, and Storm was calm and she understand that okay, there is someone with so much burden, and though she doesn't have any option. She actually did something right. If that review was told to Cyclops or Jane, I think they will be so pissed that they're going to start fighting and going to make the situation worse. The thing I don't like most is when Cyclops and Jane are trying to get Nathan out of there. Like I understand they had to take their son and take him back to the past, and at least they should grow up and become who he's meant to be, and they had no choice, and they are like, oh, I now have the opportunity to be with my son and try to live our life normally without any issue. But I think that it was still not there was no logic behind it. One, they know they have to do something like that, so they should be at this point that they understand that oh, this is my son, and I know who is going to end up becoming. There's no need for me to force this parenthood, so it's I was every parent wants to be with their kids, but I don't think there was any need for them to force all that kind of feeling to their son. But yeah, I get it, I understand it, but I still don't like that feeling. It was very, very annoying. Whenever they were talking about it, I was like, you guys should just shut up and listen. And also, I saw somewhere where you talk about that old lady who I can't remember her name. She was the one that that was raising Nathan. she's also their son, but I think she was like of a distant timeline where things went bad and she had to go back to that timeline and kind of fix it. But I love that character, but I was expecting that at least we should get some things to give us hints of what exactly is going on. Down to episode two. Episode two. I think episode two among the three was actually the best. It had more like you don't really need to do any mental gymnastics to be able to understand what exactly is going on with episode two. I love the episode two. I love the formation of the X Force. I love I love the short introduction with the X Factor. They were able to just give us with the news and they were tell us, okay, this is why the X Factor was created. This is who created the X Factor. Bam, it's my fun. And so those tweets, I love that. I love that. That thing. Then we went back to episode three where it actually became Cable, and we're able to see Kang. We're able to see Kang the Conqueror. Is the same is not the same Kang from the MCU, but he was shown in the MCU version, the Egyptian. It's more a reference to the comments of people that have actually read the comments and can to understand who the King is. But I think I love the way the character was introduced. There wasn't really much review, but it was kept as a review as a secret review. Sorry, review rather. Then another thing I love and I also hate was that if they go to the past to stop Apocalypse from becoming Apocalypse, but the one that are in the further past couldn't get them do what they want to do, then Apocalypse now have to go to the future and to ruin everything. It's just kind of like they've done this before, but it's now a few years after and it's not making sense. So those fights, I think at some point they are going to either delete so many timelines or they're just going to find a way to make it work because they are going to need more explanation. Time travel, I think time travel and universe jumping and hopping is something that audiences are trying to not to remember, but if done right, I think it's going to be a good way to say, okay, you are doing multiverse story, but this is actually a good way to tell the multiverse story as long as it fits the plot and it fits the narrative. One thing I also love is this when Professor Xavier was reading the mind of that man, yeah, that prince, the prince or king, the apocalypse before he became apocalypse. I've forgotten his name. Before he became the guy that before he became apocalypse, the guy they captured that he didn't kill. When he was reading his mind, I was like, I know who this guy is going to be. The person that was actually doing the mind blocking, the person I believe is going to be Apocalypse. And what I want to see is how they are going to be able to implement Kang and Apocalypse into this series and how the series is going to play on in general. But I think I do love what they are building here. I think they have something in this series, and if done right, this could be the best X-Men series so far. So that's all. In case you have something to tell me, you can or teach me, you can put it down in the comment section. If you have the disagreement with me, you can put it down in the comment section. I'm willing to what to learn, and I want to do more reading. I want to do more comics reading. There are some excellent comics I want to go and get and start reading, and just follow more people to teach me the law to X-Men. There are a lot of things I don't know and I do want to be able to grow and to be able to do my job better. So I'm going to be releasing so many um, reviews as I can. I'm going to be releasing so many contents. Still starting line. We have one more episode for starting line that is dropping very soon. Hopefully I can release it tomorrow. I can release it on Sunday. I just hope to get it out as early as I can and make sure that we're done with that chapter for season one of starting line. Then we are moving on to just making our content back to back, the reviews, the news, the lives, the new content. I want to just be releasing content as much as I can, as many as I can, and it's just like put like I think you can focus on that side of the thing and also doing the social media thing. I think it's going to help in general. So this is Streamdorm. My name is Adedayo. And make sure you like, share, subscribe, and all that kind of thing. I would see you when next I see you. Bye for now.